Hey guys, this is DJ from Top Deck. I just got back from the North American WCQ where I got second place and wanted to go over my deck and explain some card choices. So let's start with the monsters. Play 3 Spellbook Magicians. It's the backbone of the deck. It searches for basically every important card you play. You should always play 3 of those. 3 Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. He's the best card in the mirror and he's pretty good against dragons too. He locks them out of the game. 2 Jalgan the Spiritualist. I kind of wish I only played one of this guy. 2 was a little cloggy all weekend, but he's key in locking dragon players out of the game. And finally, 1 Defender the Magical Knight. Not everyone knows about this card. It's really good, and if you haven't been playing it, I suggest you do. It protects all of your guys. You can remove counters from Star Hall to negate destruction effects, and just keeps your opponent out of the game. Just basically all this deck aims to do. And onto the spells. I have 3 Spellbook of Judgments. It's the best card in the deck, really. It's insane. It's broken. Yeah, not much else to say about that, really. 3 Spellbook of the Masters. I know a lot of people only play 2 of this card. I like 3 because it gives me a better opportunity of going off first turn and getting a big judgment, and it's an extra copy of all of my spell cards, really. There's nothing wrong with only playing 2, but I've really liked 3 all weekend. And 3 Spellbook of Secrets. Everything I said about Spellbook Magician applies to this card too, except it's also a spell for judgment, and it fuels fates. So it's obviously a 3 of at all times. 3 Spellbook Star Halls. Again, it's another card you can get away with playing 2 of, but it's one of the best cards in the mirror after Kaiku. If you land a Star Hall before them, your monsters will always be bigger than theirs since it gets counters for their spells too. So I would play 3 if you expect a lot of Spellbooks to be in your tournament. 3 Spellbook Library of the Crescent. This card is pretty unexciting, really. I needed more Spellbook cards to search off Judgment. I didn't like them being dead late game. It's great turn 1 and lets you go off pretty consistently, but after that, obviously, it's not very good. And it's a free discard target and remove target, which is nice, but obviously not a really big point for it. 2 Grand Spellbook Towers. Drawing 2 cards a turn is really good. Recycling your Fates and Eternity and cards like that is really good. I definitely wouldn't play 3 of them. I actually sided a 3rd, which was a mistake. Shouldn't have done that, but you should be playing 2 of this card. 2 Spellbook of Fate. This card does literally everything. It's a Book of Moon. It removes cards, and you can use the remove 1 bounce effect to build your judgments up on your own turn, which is really good. I've seen some people play 3. I probably wouldn't, but it's really one of the best cards in the deck. It just does so much. 2 Spellbook of Power. This card is huge in letting you play around Droll and Lockbird since your opponent can't play it in the damage step. So if you can read Droll or just want to play around Droll, you can play Master and then, or play this rather, and then copy it with Master, so you can do all your searching in the damage step and still get giant judgments. Plus this lets you just kill big monsters or your opponent's Kaikus in the mirror. It's a really important card. 2 Spellbook of Wisdom. Protecting your creatures from spells and traps is very good. It lets you shrink your opponent's monsters down from Star Hall in the mirror and shut off their powers. Plus letting you play around Fates and stuff. It's a very key card. 1 Spellbook of Eternity. You get your banished cards back from Fate. It lets you set up some really awkward plays and loop your judgments very easily. 1 Spellbook of Life. This card was terrible all weekend. I had never thought I would say that a Monster Reborn variant sucked, but this was just terrible. I'm probably taking this out of my main after this. It was okay against dragons, letting you have more access to your Jalgans and Defender, but against everything else, it was just honestly a liability. And then finally, the only non-Spellbook spell card, Book of Moon. It's a great card this format. Flipping down Spellbook Magician, dodging Veiler, all great. Using it defensively is also great. And then finally, the traps. 3 Phoenix Wing Wind Blasts. This card just does everything. When you're ahead, it lets you keep your opponent locked out of the game by giving them a dead card back on top, and when you're behind, it's an answer to literally every card. This card is just insane. And then finally, the 2 Solemns. Both keep your opponent locked out of the game, which is what we're really trying to do. Then let's go over the side deck. We have 3 Mind Drain. This card just keeps dragons completely locked out of the game. This plus Kaiku demands a Typhoon or a Storm or something. It's really hard for them to beat. 3 Compulsory Evacuation Device. Same thing, you set up boards that your opponent just can't beat with the Compulse. They can't play around so much removal all the time. It helps you reset Spellbook Magicians, which is sweet, and save your guys from Last Day of Witches, Vortex, that sort of thing, if you don't have a Wisdom. Really good card. After the weekend, I'm going to cut it down to 2, but 3 was good for me. 3 Mystical Space Typhoon. It's a card you want against pretty much every deck that's not dragons. Clearing Imperial Iron Walls, even against dragons after siding, actually, clearing DNA Surgery is a really big deal. So I would definitely want 3 of these cards in my sideboard. 2 Tsukiyomi. Against Evil Swarm and in the mirror, this card's an MVP. Allowing you to kill Kaiku, no matter how big their Star Halls are, is great. And just making all of Evil Swarm's monsters very easy to deal with is also awesome. 2 Puppet Plants. I sided these for the mirror, obviously. Taking their spellcaster is pretty good. I'm not sure how correct this is. Probably is a better card I could play in this slot, but it worked for me all weekend, so that was good. Heavy Storm is Heavy Storm. Not too much to say about that. And the 3rd tower, like I said, it wasn't very good. This is coming straight out. I don't know what for yet, but it was just not good. Don't do that. Don't be me. And then let's go over the extra. 1 Photon Papal Operative, 1 Evil Swarm Ouroboros, 1 Gargoyle Cowboy, 1 Utopia, 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Gemini Pearl, 1 Maestroke, 1 Zenmeister, 1 Black Ship, 1 Diamond Direwolf, 1 Dark Mist, 1 Shockmaster, 1 Daigusto Phoenix, and I didn't use any of these 13 cards all weekend, not once. The 2 I did use are Gotchi Gotchi and Shining Elf. Mostly Shining Elf. I made this card more times than I can count in top 64 on. It's so good. If you have it and a Jowgen, dragons don't have a normal summon that can kill your Jowgen, so it's just insane, and Gotchi makes your Kaikus and Jowgens and everything very big and very hard to deal with. So there's my list. If you guys have any questions or anything, let me know in the comments down below. I'll be glad to answer. And thanks for watching.